Ellen Greenberg. There is a Hulu show. It's just 2 episodes about
Death in Apartment 603.
that. Yes,
Now that happened in
That's the title.
Philadelphia, from what I
in
understand.
Philadelphia, right? So this is more of a political case, is what they're saying. But she was 27-year-old first grade teacher living in Philadelphia, like you said, and she was discovered by her fiance.
Who went out for roughly 40 minutes or something like that, 45 minutes.
Yeah, they got video. If you watch the Hulu show, they got video of him leaving the room,
Yeah,
going down the elevator,
yeah.
working out, coming back, and then the 911 call. Oh my God! She's dead.
Well, Okay,
There's
go
a
ahead.
knife in her chest, and blah, 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 blah.
Go ahead.
Plus, they were saying the door was locked from the inside.
Yeah.
It was all kinds of twists and turns
Twist.
here.
Yeah, from what I understand, they found her in the kitchen.
Yeah.
She was all the knife was still sticking inside her,
Mm-hmm.
but if they said it was a suicide, that she stabbed herself, but yet there were back in the back
Wounds. Yes. Stab wounds in the back.
stab wounds in the back.
Yeah.
But then he left. She locks the door, and then she
So-
gets killed. But then he comes back, and the door can't be opened. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense at all. It's like,
Right. That's why this is so strange. Because now people say, well, if you slam the door, sometimes those things swing closed, you know,
Yeah.
and lock behind him. Did he do that? Did he figure out a way to make it lock when he left to make it look like it was?
well, what would be his motive? Was
Well,
there any
Well,
motive?
that's where we're getting deep into. Yeah. Right. She had, like you said, she had 20 more stab wounds, including wounds to her neck and her back. Now,
Yeah.
when you're killing yourself,
Yeah, it's-
now, honestly, and I don't know a lot about suicide, thank God, but most people slit their wrists and sit in the bathtub, right? And bleed out. You don't stab yourself multiple times. How do you do that? I mean, I don't know. And then he said that Goldberg, I guess the guy, he said he had to break down the locked deadbolt.
Right.
Well, it wasn't a deadbolt. It was one of those flipper things that you have in the hotel
Right.
rooms. They're not real sturdy anyway.
There was no clear signs of forced entry.
Right.
Wow.
Now, just taking that, right, that little piece right there, no forced entry. So if they're going to kill this girl like this, wouldn't there be a forced entry?
Yeah.
Something kick it in? There was no evidence of an intruder initially, so they started pointing to him. The medical examiner ruled the death a homicide. Now, remember the definition of homicide I told you a couple of weeks ago. It means a human being killed a human being. Doesn't mean he's guilty. It doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, wait. First, they said it was a suicide.
No. First,
Oh,
they said it was a
homicide.
homicide. Yep. And immediately they think he was involved, the boyfriend.
Yeah.
After autopsy findings, then they changed the official ruling to a suicide. A decision authorities have maintained for years that she killed herself. Now, she was having some problems and she wasn't real happy with the relationship, and her girlfriend said she wasn't herself, and all this little stuff. But the medical examiner ruled it a homicide and then changed it to a suicide. Now, the parents, who are just devastated, of course, think that she was killed. And here's the weird part. When you gather evidence, when there's a murder scene like this or a homicide,
You're not supposed to tamper with evidence.
Right.
And somebody cleaned the apartment.
professionally, clean the apartment. So, and then there was some talk about how blood spatters, and she would have been, her angle that she was sitting up in, it was like almost somebody put her in that kind of position.
Yeah, she was like in the corner of the cabinet.
Yeah,
Like, laying-
leaning up. Yeah.
I remember that back in 2011. I do remember that case.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't
it's
pay
very,
much
very, very
attention.
political. And boy, I'll tell you what, it's scary. I mean, 20 stab wounds, and then this is what they're saying, and then bruises, various staging of healing on her body. So now they're thinking that he was abusing her because she had bruises in various staging of healing. In other words, if he hit her here, and then a week later he hits her again, there's all kinds of bruises all over her body. So the parents are convinced that he did this, but so far he's gotten away with it.
So he's walked free.
He's walked free. Yeah, because here's why, and this is where the political thing's starting to come in. As soon as they rule it a suicide, there is no more investigation going on. None. So the reason I brought this up, along with the Nancy Guthrie story, is they recently, this past month, January, I think it was, 2026, they reopened the case and they're getting the FBI back on it.
But why? I thought they couldn't because it was a suicide.
But if their first thing they have to do is get that changed to a homicide or like no reason. I don't know exactly what it's called. But if they get that changed to either one of those, then they can reopen the investigation. And the parents are still working on this. This is 5 years later.
Oh, yeah.
And they're still going into courthouses and this, and it's just year upon year upon year. And they're trying to clear her daughter's name that
like
she
I
didn't
asked
kill herself.
before, what would be his reasoning to kill her? Was there he just didn't love her anymore or didn't want to be with her, so he kills her?
I don't know.
Instead of saying, I just don't want to be with you.
Yeah, and just leave.
Good luck and have a nice life.
Bill, there's so much shit going on. Who knows what goes through their mind?